Testing, testing, we are live. Welcome everyone to Chronologically Gaming. Audio check, video check, engage. Where we play every video game in order of release. It is show time. This is the pre-show. We've been playing way too many video games. Check out all the videos we got on YouTube, but it's way too much. I didn't even get through all the video games in 1982. Welcome in, everybody. It's a good time to play some games. It's now time to go off the rails. If you thought all the video games released at some time in December is off the rails, this is really off the rails. Hey, sound video. We're looking good. Hello, Marshall. Welcome in. Howdy, Brad. Good to see you. Good to see you. Welcome to Tuesday night. This is the Chronologically Gaming pre-show. Hey, Morpheus the Dream Machine. Welcome in. So if you thought all the games released at some time in December was pretty crazy, get ready. Tonight's episode is the very beginning of all the games released at some time in 1982. We do not know when in 1982 these games came out, but they've been around here somewhere, or sometime. Oh, yes. Well, at least definitely one. But we are going to go over some rare games. We usually haven't talked about rare games. There's a lot of things we're going to talk about. This is, I think, one of the fewest episodes, or recently, of an episode where we have so many games crammed into one episode. This is the most, because when you are going to play the games that were released at some time in 1982, there's a lot of almost non-games, so we're just going to be like, there it is, and then move on to the next game. It'll be pretty quick. We'll be hopping. We're going to be hopping really fast. I had so many games, I didn't even get finished with all of my setting and preparing. So I'm just hoping everything's going to run. I think it's all right. We're ready to go. See what happens. There's going to be so much to cover tonight. But it is fun. You saw the thumbnail. I'm actually surprised I could get a thumbnail. Some of these games that were released at some time in 1982 are so obscure there's no even artwork. I'm having to look on eBay now for stuff. It's getting harder and harder to find anything legitimate. Oh, wow. Yes. Okay, yeah, this is... I think we're all set. Oh my goodness. How are we going to do this? Yes, that's right. The vibe. If you come for the show because you like the idea that we're gonna, you don't know what exactly game is gonna be on the show, because you know what it is based on the thumbnail. But if you like this show because you like to be surprised, you're gonna get surprised. Every game that we come across, it's gonna be something you've never heard of before. The vibe is good. We are live. Larry's dancing right there on my shoulder. We're not even going to see Larry for a long time. It's only 1982. All those games were super new. There's a true 1982 console. Only exists at that time. I just got to remember, we got to go fast. We are going very fast. Hopping from one to the other to the other. Got to talk fast too. Ooh, man. And this is just the beginning. This is the first episode. I'll head on to it a little bit when we go live, but there's a lot. That's it. Yeah, we might as well, Marshall, do the random game generator. Whenever we go, I don't know if you tuned in for 1981. Whenever we played all the games that were released at some time in 1981, we did them all in alphabetical order. And we're doing the same now because it really doesn't matter. There's no release date. These games came out sometime in 1982, and we're trying to make sure we see everything and play everything. And when we go in alphabetical order, I mean, you might as well be random. It doesn't matter. Wait, great question, Morpheus. Right now, it's a little over 500. 500 games left before we finish 1982. It's been a wild, crazy ride. We're still not done with 1982. All right, get ready, get set, let's go. Hey, it's Chronologically Gaming, the only channel that's perpetually retro because we're playing every video game in order of release. We've played every video game in 1982, almost. We've played everything that was released at some time in December 1982, and now we are off the rails. These are the first video games that were released at some time in 1982.
Jefferson, George Jefferson. J as in jerk, E as in me, F as in yes, I hope.
The Jeffersons, Monday through Saturday at 6:30 on TV 38.
We were last in the arcades checking out Zookeeper. That was the last game that was released with some kind of release date. Here it is. We're going to go off the rails. The very first games that were released at some time in 1982. Starting with 3D Asteroid Fire for the NEC PC 6001. This is only available on this computer, this specific computer, at least that I could find. And in fact, I'm wondering why it wasn't ported to other Japanese computers. This is the 12th game we've seen so far for this home computer. The only artwork I got is a small snippet from a magazine article that it exists. There it is. That's proof that it's a real game. And that's all I have. There really is no manual, even though it says that it's not a manual. Let's pop in 3D Asteroid Fire and see what it's all about. This is by T&E Soft, released sometime in 1982. When? You tell me when. So this was a game that we're gonna see. This is the second time we've seen a game by T&E Soft. Let me get us in here, get the game going. There it is. Nice. The only other game we've seen by T&E Soft up to this point was 3D Golf Simulation. We're going to see more than that. All right, so let's go ahead and go in. I need basic. How many pages? We want 4 pages. Ready? Get our cassette tape. And go. I'm ready. Let's do it. Ooh, pretty cool. So roughly translated, this is the game explanation for 3D Asteroid Fire. It says we have 3 bases, or lives. If you destroy all the bases, you'll receive 10,000 units of bonus energy. You cannot destroy an asteroid unless the center of the crosshair is aimed at it. If your energy runs out before destroying all 3 bases, it's game over. If you collide with an asteroid, your energy will be greatly reduced. With each round, the number of asteroids increases. Press spacebar to start the game. Please watch the demo play, and that's what we're doing now. This is the demo playing right now. Yes. It's not 3D like glasses or anything like that. It's just 3D because, look, the asteroids are flying at us. And you can see it says 1982 for the copyright. A lot of this information for Japanese computers I've been finding online from people with databases that are wanting to play this. All right, so spacebar. Oh, it tells us how to play too. Look at that. Shift for the high score. And that part's in English. I didn't get a translation for the game. Scene 1, start. All right, so we're playing. 3D Asteroid Fire has me controlling. Oh, check that out. Slowly moving the crosshair. I dig the crosshair there, though. It reminds me of Phaser Patrol on the Atari. Oh, don't run away. Come on, let me shoot you. The only controls I have are cursor controls, so I can just move up, down, left, and right. It's absolute controls, and then spacebar is firing my little mediocre laser. I'm trying to hunt down the unlicensed TIE fighter. Oh, he's running off. But I don't really have a speed gauge. I have a power or energy gauge. If you look over on the right side, that yellow bar is my energy gauge. So you really don't want to be hitting the space bar like I am and wasting all your energy. But the effect is real. We consider these games space combat games or vehicular combat space combat games. It's the 41st game we've seen that's doing this, which is an arcade action space combat game. It's the 26th that we've seen on all home computers thus far. Not too many. Usually we've seen games like this combined with strategy. Some other examples on home computers you could be playing right now are Hadron, Warp Destroyer, Horizon 5 on the Apple II. There's also Vexus on the TRS-80. Cosmos is available on the ZX Spectrum. Grotnik Wars on the XD Sorcerer. Stellar Escort on the TRS-80. Astral Convoy on the ZX81. Project Nebula and Quasar Commander on the Coco, and then another example like Zenith for the Apple II. Usually when you add strategy elements to it, you're going to get a game like Star Raiders, Space Raiders, Shootout at the OK Galaxy, Shadowhawk 1 on the Atari home computer. So this game is just action arcade. What you're seeing is basically it. We also saw an example of Star Trek the Motion Picture on the Vectrex if you want to talk about home consoles. So this game is a cool like demo, I guess, if you want to think of it that way. I mean, considering all the games we've seen across all home computers, it's not doing a full-fledged game like we've seen with strategy titles. Where's all the ships? So if you look, I don't really have a radar. I just have an energy gauge, and I only have cursor controls, so I don't have a way to go slow or fast. And the enemy type, see, the TIE fighters, not TIE fighters, are green dots, and I can move myself to the green dots, but that's it as far as controls go. You're also blowing out asteroids from the sky, but once you destroy all the enemies, as I'm slowly firing, like flying around, I mean, then you move on to the next round. The next round adds more enemies, more asteroids, and more fun, and it just repeats after that. It's has the classic arcade gaming loop for a game. This is an action-packed computer game when you think of the other titles you could be playing on computers right now. And for all the examples that I've given, I got to give a shout out to the Old Game Database Japan for showing this and making me realize this is a game that was released in 1982. I'll include links down below to that, as well as some other databases too, if you want to check out more Japanese computing right now. Oh, and then James over there in the chat saying possibly June of 82. I wonder what database you got from there. So as we can play every single video game that was released at some time in 1982, this is also the time you can tell me which games have we not played from 1982, so they don't get missed. They might be on this whole list of all the games we're going to be playing. So this is it. This is 3D Asteroid Fire. Not doing anything incredibly amazing, not doing anything really bad. This is actually, I would say, a fairly average game that you could be playing on home computers right now. It works for the most part. So there you go. 3D Asteroid Fire is all right for a computer game release right now in 1982. I know we were playing this after all the games we've seen from 1982, but I would still say it's around average. Anybody in the chat have any ratings for 3D Asteroid Fire? Anyone here from Japan to play some games? We got Marshall throwing out still around the average range, 2.5. Jay Mogler's saying 2 stars. Okay, I'm not going to be as bad because you find some enjoyment from this title or this style of game on a home computer. So I'll go 3 stars. Average game on a home computer. All right, after that, what's next? Next is 3D Maze for the Sharp MZ line of home computers. This is the 44th game we've seen for this computer. And all I got for this is this very obscure, strange box. And in fact, a lot of the information on this game is very obscure. It's on a computer that most people never heard of. On the Sharp MZ, we've played games on the 80B series, the MZ2000, the MZ3500, the 80K series. The 700 is the one we mostly play on, and the 700 is basically an 80K with color graphics. This is done by Nidacom Soft and Kei Hiratsuka. The first time we've seen them on the show, and I have no idea if they've done anything else besides this. All right, so let's go to the video. Hit it. This is it. 3D Maze. We've seen plenty of 3D mazes. Games titled 3D Maze, we've seen those too. This is the 42nd 3D Maze game we've seen on Chronologically Gaming, and it is an action 3D maze. The 18th time we've seen an action 3D maze in the game. Already, the track mode's pretty cool. I'm already seeing radar. Yeah, I already pushed to go in. You got a mini map at the bottom. They show the controls on the screen. Look, the cursor keys are just to move around the maze. It's brisk too. If you push the different maps, you have a map to look at. You can see our self is way down in the bottom left corner. It's a massive maze too. This is a randomly generated maze. We've seen plenty of those, but really impressive already from the first glimpse of the game. An action 3D maze 2 has aliens to avoid, I believe. But you can see we have M1 and M2, map 1 and map 2. We have two different maps to look at. That was the far away map. And you also have other ones. But controls are really simple. Just move around the maze. And then the mini-map's telling us where the aliens are. Avoid the aliens, get to the exit. But look at the second map. This is the closer zoomed in on your area. Really cool feature to have 2 different maps you can go back from. This is the 18th 3D maze game that's an action 3D maze that we've seen on Chronologically Gaming. Some of the best you could be playing anywhere is Escape from the Mine Master on the Atari 2600 Way Out is one of the best. It's incredible. On the Atari home computer, we've also seen it on the Apple II. Phantom Slayer is another really popular, really good 3D maze game. Even it has more first-person shooter perspective. Phantom Slayer, check that one out. There's also a 3D Monster Maze you could be playing right now on the ZX81. We played Spectre on the Apple II. That's kind of like this. 3D Ghost Mania for the Coco. And this one, because of the maze, now it's not generating the maze as we're playing it, like an auto map. We've seen the auto map feature in, for example, Way Out, but then another game we played was called Treasure Hunt on MS-DOS. This one kind of gives me the vibes of Treasure Hunt just because of the presentation, but this one takes it a notch higher than that. It's really good, great with presentation. So besides this game that we're playing right now, there is another game with the same name that was done in 1982 by Knights Computers for the Sharp MZ80K. That game, I'm okay not playing at every 3D maze game. Just so you know, there's another one out there. This is the better of the games called 3D Maze, released at some time in 1982. All right, we can go ahead and kill it. You get the idea. We're gonna wander around a 3D maze. That's it. There you go, 3D Maze for the Sharp MZ. It is actually better than the other 3D mazes we played. It is still, you could argue, average for the games we played to this point, but after seeing so many 3D mazes, there's really nothing that goes above 4 stars because it's still the same concept, and it's kind of easy to make. But you gotta admit, randomly generated, the way that they present something to avoid aliens that are out there, and also there's the 2 different maps to view from. Looks really good. All right. Oh, here we go. We already got, it looks like office cubicles. Yeah, love that. Brad saying 2.5, 3, all right. Jay Mogler's 3.5. I'm actually going to be more kind. 3D Maze is one of the better games as far as when you think of everything you could be playing right now. I'm going to go above average and say it's a 3.5 star game. I bet 1983 though it's gonna bump back down to just average, but right now I'm gonna say 3.5 for 3D Maze, incorporating things we haven't seen before. All right, after 3D Maze, the next video game is on the Micro B. Can't get enough of that. This is 3D Noughts and Crosses, the second time we've seen any game on the Micro B after Scrambler, and I have no information for this one. When was it released? Sometime in 1982. Who did it? I have no idea. It's tic-tac-toe. This is the 12th tic-tac-toe game we've seen so far. Do I want first move? Yes. Is the computer going to be offensive? I hope not. This is a family show. Sure. We'll say no. We don't want them to be offensive. Shall the computer play your game? Oh, you can do computer and computer? No. I want to play. But you can just have the computer run the game if you want to. Enter the level of the computer's game. Let's make them crazy stupid. If you want to exit, just hit exit. Very nice. It's going to load the game for us. It is the 12th tic-tac-toe video game that we've seen so far on Chronologically Gaming. I know, riveting. This is a variant of Cubic, which was one of the first original, let's make a tic-tac-toe 3D. And look, this is off the rails. It's not just tic-tac-toe. It's got 4 quadrants. We got quadrants everywhere. We've seen 3D tic-tac-toe on the Atari home computer, the Atari 2600, the Acorn Atom up to this point, MS-DOS, ZX Spectrum. There's 3D tic-tac-toe everywhere. Oh, I just got to type a number of the square? That's great. Let's do 11. And you can have the just computer play itself. Play it in the background, impress, all your friends with 3D tic-tac-toe. Computer's going to take its turn. As far as presentation, though, I'm not very impressed. We've seen 3D tic-tac-toe actually look 3D. This does not. You have to use your imagination for 3D. But there it is on the Micro B. 3D tic-tac-toe, I am not going to be very kind. Of all the games you could be playing on all home computers, it was a novelty maybe in the 70s, but right now in 1982, I'm actually going to say it's bad. Brad is actually, Marshall saying nice. Yes, and yes, you can have the computer play yourself. Yeah, I know. James is 1.5, whatever. It's a bad game when you think of all the games you could be playing on home computers. 1.5 stars. All right, next. Next game takes us to Germany, and it's 17+4 Blackjack for the Commodore VIC-20. Or, since we're in Germany, this is on the Volkscomputer. So it is the VC-20, and it's the 339th game we've seen so far on the Commodore VIC-20. Let's just pop in and see what happens. Made by Commodore, for Commodore, because no one else is going to play this, at some time in 1982. Do we want to do names or Spiel? Do we want to play? So if we do 1, we can do, what's your name? My name is Chrono. Yeah, I've got a bank. Got to know German to play. We got to say ja? Yeah? Yes? No? Oh no, money. Do they need money? 10? There we go. Obviously, my German ain't so good. My Sprechen Sie Deutsch is not there. So yes, it looks like, oh cool, did I get a, I got 17 plus 4 right off the bat. Well, that's pretty good. Next one, let's bet, I guess our luck's running. Let's go high. Got a Z of hearts. Is that one of the German cards? But there you go. That's it. That's blackjack. We played so much blackjack. That was the 26th game of blackjack that we've seen so far on Chronologically Gaming. Whether you're in Germany or any other parts of the world, it's still just blackjack. But for this style of game on the VIC-20, I'd rather play other things. I could go 1.5 to 2 stars. I still consider this a bad game when you think of everything that you could play across all home computers right now. Blackjack's blackjack. 2 stars, 1.5. Anyone going to go 2? I'm actually going to go. I might go 1.5 again for blackjack. It's a bad game in the fact that there's just so much else that you could be playing. It is not broken though. I wouldn't go in the 1-star range. So we'll still go 1.5 stars for 12 plus 4 for blackjack. What a strange name. What's our next game? Our next game takes us to the arcades. This is Abscam. Abscam? You heard it here. Here's the artwork we have for Abscam. A fabrication of a box. This game is only found in the arcades. It's the 651st arcade game we've seen on Chronologically Gaming. This was done by GL with a US Billiards license. GL, we did one other game, and we'll talk about that in a sec. You can see the controls say Puckman. There's the arcade marquee for Abscam with the $sign. And it's got a politician holding money. Love it. Yes, this one has all kinds of history and story behind it. Yeah, besides that, we got some screenshots. That's about it. Let's go to the arcades and see what's going on with Abscam. Released at some time in 1982. Abscam was directly inspired by the real-world Abscam scandal that shocked the United States in the late 1970s and early 1980s. Abscam was an undercover FBI operation in which agents posed as wealthy Arab businessmen offering bribes to politicians in exchange for political favors, immigration assistance, and business deals. All right, I think we can turn down. Abscam's going really loud. Hidden cameras captured several elected officials accepting cash-filled envelopes and making corrupt purchases. Or promises, sorry. The scandal led to the conviction of multiple members of Congress and became one of the most infamous political corruption cases in American history. The arcade game turned this serious political scandal into a bizarre satire. Instead of presenting a realistic depiction of the investigation, the developers used the scandal's notoriety as a humorous backdrop for an action maze game. Players dodge enemies, collect money, and maneuver through chaotic screens that symbolically represent corruption and greed. The title itself was designed to immediately grab attention during the arcade boom that we're hitting right now, when controversial or topical themes can help a machine stand out. Gameplay-wise, Abscam is heavily based on Piranha, which itself was an unauthorized modification of Pac-Man. Like Piranha, Abscam uses maze chase format where the player navigates corridors while avoiding pursuers and collecting items scattered around the playfield. The similarities in movement, maze design, and enemy behavior are unmistakable. Essentially, the developers took the familiar and successful Pac-Man formula, altered the graphics and theme, and wrapped it around the political satire of the Abscam scandal. This kind of reskinning was common during this era in 1982. Small manufacturers often produce unofficial derivatives of popular games to capitalize on trends quickly and cheaply. Abscam is remembered today less for innovative gameplay and more for being an unusual snapshot of the early 1980s pop culture, even when federal corruption scandals could become the basis for an arcade cabinet. This is the first political corruption scandal turned into a video game. Let's put a coin in. I can imagine just going to the arcades. Where are you going to the arcades to play this? Did everybody hear that? It sounded like someone choked Pac-Man. And then we're in. We're playing as a politician. Just going around picking up all the money. We're just as corrupt as they can be. If you pick up the green $signs, oh! Then the FBI turns into money bags and you get even more money. This is so bizarre. Yep, just get some more money. Lots of money. Reminds me of Taxman and the other games we played that are ripoffs of Pac-Man on home computers, but we're in the arcades. We're playing it right here. This is in the arcades. Yeah, that's right, Brad. If they flip upside down, that's what they turn into. That's hilarious. All right. Oh, we have a warp too? Yeah, look at that. You can warp to the other side of the screen. Too cool. All right, ready? Give me more money. No FBI. No one's catching me. And I tested in the playthrough. Is there more to this game than this screen? No. This is the whole thing. When you go to the next screen, it just adds the money gets all put back in, and that's it. So, not doing too much here as far as games go. The ripoff is uncanny. And they made a pixelated version of it. It kind of looks like Abraham Lincoln, but I think it's meant to be a U.S. senator. And you got the FBI headquarters in the middle. This is it. You're looking at the whole game, the whole scandal right here. Everything you need to know about the scandal in the U.S., especially if you're tuning in from other countries. This was Abscam. They have music playing in the background, and they're ripping off Pac-Man. This is the 315th arcade maze game we've seen so far on Chronologically Gaming, and it's the 83rd that we've seen in the arcades. The 83rd arcade maze game we've seen in the arcades. It is the 157th copy of Pac-Man. We've already talked about the game Piranha. Here's an example of what Piranha is. This game is essentially taking this and ripping off... Well, I should back up. They took the Pac-Man arcade board and ripped off Pac-Man with this. This is Piranha. Then they took Piranha and ripped it off with Abscam. So we're a corruption within corruption here. So besides the games you can be playing that are arcade maze games, let's avoid the usual ones. We played some weird ones. This one's pretty weird, but let's avoid the popular games. Everyone knows about the Pac-Man that you can be playing right now. Everyone knows about the Miss Pac-Man you can be playing right now, and the Rally X, or the new Rally X that's out there, or the Dig Dug. Everyone knows about Dig Dug. That's out that you can be playing right now. Mr. Do's out there, but that's still not weird enough. Mr. Do is really cool. This is a really good arcade maze game. Pingo is pretty weird, but not weird enough. That's still a normal one. There's also Ladybug. Ladybug you can be playing. That's one of the popular ones. Blueprints available to be playing. There's also Lock and Chase. I'm sure you heard of that one. That's in the arcades to play. Mousetrap is available to play in the arcades. Those are all the popular, everyone is familiar with arcade maze games you can be playing right now. But there's been some weird ones. Here's some of the weirdest ones we've seen in the arcade. Alibaba and the 40 Thieves is a pretty weird game that you can be playing in the arcades. There's also Macho Mouse, much less popular. No one's really heard of Macho Mouse. Or even more obscure, we've seen Dorodon here on the show. That's a very bizarre one. It even has the panels of the game similar to Ladybug, or it's ripping off Ladybug. There's also Frisky Tom that we've seen, which is, you could argue is popular, but I don't think so. It's still a very strange game. Anteater is also available. That one possibly could be popular. We need weird, though. Stranger. Give us Stranger arcade maze games. There's Jolly Jogger, which is here. There's also a really weird one called Rootin' Tootin'. We also have seen Devilfish in the arcades. Now we're getting to some really strange arcade maze games. And even more bizarre than that is Marine Date that's out there. And even more bizarre than Marine Date is Talbot. That's just crazy weird games that you can be playing. Even farther than that, though, is Dream Shopper that's in the arcades. Or Oli Buchu. Or, sorry, no, not Oli Buchu. Gotcha. This is Gotcha, or it's also known as The Hand. You could also be playing Oli Buchu in the arcades. And then even more weird than that is Dazzler that you could be playing. This game, though, the game that this is Abscam game, it kind of gives me vibes of the game Streaking that we saw by Shoei. Did anyone tune in for that episode? It was one of the first adult-themed video games that we've ever seen on Chronologically Gaming. So there it is, an unlicensed video game. As far as unlicensed video games go, we've seen our fair share in the arcades up to this point. Star Trek was one of the first ones that was a clone of Computer Space. RCA Studio 2 had some unlicensed games. There was also Space Stranger that was available to play in the arcades. Space Rangers was a ripoff of Pac-Man. We also saw Cosmic Monsters 1 and Cosmic Monsters 2. They look basically the same by Universal. There was also Dai-san Wakusai Meteor that we saw in the arcades. Should look pretty familiar. It's basically asteroids. And we also saw Dora-chan as an unlicensed game. Not real. A game called Condor ripping off Phoenix. We also saw Magic Worm ripping off Centipede. We saw Mayday ripping off Defender. We saw Super Moon Cresta not associated with real Moon Cresta. And would you consider Miss Pac-Man? Because it started off as an unlicensed game called Crazy Auto. There was also Funny Mouse that we saw, and Mr. DU, not Mr. DO. That was a rip-off unlicensed game. And also, does Crazy Kong count? We've seen Crazy Kong 1 and Crazy Kong 2. That's some of the unlicensed drivel that we've seen so far on Chronologically Gaming. That's how much we've seen, and it's only 1982. This is just the beginning of unlicensed video games. So much fun to be had. All right, so there you go. That's Abscam. That's Abscam. Arcade maze games that are really bizarre and also unlicensed games. Lots of games out there. So of all the games you could be playing up to this point in the arcades, it's so generic and bare bones. I actually want to go not average. It's definitely not average because of the theme. So maybe I could say it's, say it's a bad game and then bump it up to 2.5 stars. But no, it's just your typical run-of-the-mill maze game with just a very strange, bizarre theme. Yes, that's right. Hey, Brad, they've got a Frisky Tom fan out there. That's nice. So what would you give Abscam? Of all the games you could be playing right now in the arcades, this is one I would avoid. When you think of all the other arcade titles, I brought up just some weird arcade maze games that we've seen, but there's so many others. Of everything, this one you would just pass by. Why put a quarter into this? I don't know. Maybe you would just put a quarter in just to laugh, but there's really not much going on here. It's a very simple concept, and it's just not very well done. I'm going to go with 2 stars. I'm going to say bad. Of all the games you could play in the arcades right now, Abscam is a bad game. It's a ripped-off game. It's a terribly sounding Pac-Man ripoff. All right, after that, let's see what our next game is. We're next going to go on the Apple II and play Acid Trip or Acid Trap, whatever it's called. All I have is fabrications of boxes, not even real boxes, of Acid Trip. This game is only available for the Apple II. It is the 451st game we've seen for the Apple II thus far. And it's not even real. There's no box. I had to find stuff that people made up for it. Let's pop in and take an acid trip. This is by Demetrius Cross, self-published at some time in 1982. If it was really made by Demetrius Cross, I don't know. Okay, so we got instructions, special message, picture show, and basic. This is a self-published homebrew game, and it's very rare to get a homebrew game now. In other words, he just published it himself. All right, so I don't want to run it yet. I want to see the picture show. Because I think it has story. Or what is the picture show? All right, press the key to begin. Oh, copyright 1983. Was it really 82 or 83? I was told by several sources. There's something that locked away a memory. Acid Trip. Oh my gosh. He was told what to do by the man. He was taught not to spit in the fan. Oh, it's Pink Floyd, right? Pink Floyd inspired, drugs everywhere. Yes, just a little pinprick. This is already trippy enough, and it's just slideshow. I like to be here when I can. Very nice. Yeah, it's just going through crazy, bizarre stuff. Got a clan of gingerbread men. You can have one if you wish. Oh my gosh. What in the world? I haven't screened all this stuff, so we'll see what happens. Whoa. Fred explodes with dark forebodings too. There it is! Yes! Dark Side of the Moon. Pink Floyd inspired. Well, this is just a slideshow. This is really nothing here. Ashes to diamonds were all equal in the end. Yes. And there you go. That's the picture show. We do have a special message. I won't do that. I'll just go into instructions. What do we got? Hector Cherney just dropped 600 micrograms of LSD, a trip he will not come down from with ease. Oh my gosh. Your job is to help Hector back down to earth. 4 levels are finished now, but 9 to 12 will be in the final version. You control Hector with keys S, X, and the arrow keys. S, X, okay. By pressing J to begin the game, joystick controls are allowed. Oh, we got our joystick plugged in. We'll play with that. You got levels 1, 2, 3, and 4. So are we going to get through all 4? I don't know, but I'm already very messed up. All right, run. Acid Trip. Let's go. Music by Pink Floyd. Animation by Graphics Magician. Laughter. There is laughter. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you did J for joystick. Let's see if it works. Acid Trip. Demetrius Cross. There you go. Copyright 1982. At least here. Maybe the original was 1982. All right, J. Dr. Albert Hoffman. He must have been so high, man. This is it. Acid Trip or Acid Trap, whatever you want to call it. I am the humanoid character in the center of the screen. And yes, joystick does work. I am moving the joystick around. I got absolute control. Oh gosh. If you touch anything, you die. I just touched something blue, possibly from the slideshow, and I'm dead. I must be high as a kite, tripping on my balls as I walk around the acid-filled screen. This is nuts. I'm just supposed to dodge everything? What am I supposed to do? Wait, I have a yes with a question mark on the left side and then a box on the right side? I guess yes? This was self-published, so what, did you go to a store to buy this? Was it in the same store as your dealer? Like, were other people on drug addicts playing video games at the same time? This is already pretty trippy, but yes did not get us anywhere. It kind of warped us out of there. This is pretty crazy. So right now it's sometime in 1982. We've seen homebrew games or self-published games, but very few. Breakaway for the TRS-80 was one example. We also saw Android NIM on the Commodore PET. We saw Tomahawk on the Sharp MZ, but one of the most popular self-published games was Cubicolor on the Atari home computer by Rob Fulop, who was at a Magic and made the game, and they just said, okay, go for it. So the controls are pretty simple with a joystick. All I'm doing is moving around. Go! That should do it. Ooh. Nope, that was my last life. I died. Okay, it keeps a score and a high score. That's nice. And I can kind of hear the Pink Floyd, but not really. To make Pink Floyd come out of an Apple II, I don't think it's possible right now. Or maybe the music sped up, and that's why I can't recognize it. I also don't know what to do. On the first screen, the only reason I was able to find out what to do next is watch someone else play for a few hours. This is the first screen of the game. There are 4 separate screens or individual screens. They're not really related to one another, and it's almost like they have a way you're supposed to bring yourself down from the acid trip. So this screen, you're essentially just supposed to do an objective. I got to get to the top of the screen when there's nothing there. So right now I could have done it, but now I think the next wave is, the next wave's coming in and it won't work. So I need to walk off the screen when there's nothing at the top, but I think I'm about to lose it because something's coming or something's going to touch me. Oh, it worked. I don't know what I did, but we just phased into the next screen. Whoa. I can feel the colors. Have you ever seen the Apple II do that? Yeah, I have. We've seen it on demos. And I can't pin that song either. Is that really Pink Floyd too? Is that like Money 10 Times Faster by Pink Floyd? I don't know. I'm having a good time. Though when you think of all the games you can be playing on home computers, this one is a treat because a theme of drugs or narcotics is very bizarre. There's only one other game I can think of that we've seen drugs or illegal drugs or narcotics in a game, and that was Nightwalker on the TRS-80. This game is way before Drug Wars. Everyone's going to mention, oh, don't forget Drug Wars, man. Drug Wars isn't out yet. There's no such thing as Drug Wars right now. I don't even think it's on mainframe. All right, what in the world is going on? I'm supposed to avoid everything. Everything Everything you touch kills you. Everybody remember this game because later we're going to get some games on the Nintendo Entertainment System where everything you touch kills you. Or on the ZX Spectrum. Everything you touch kills you. Maybe they got the idea from this game. Because this is just a whole bunch of stuff flying at you. Alright, there you go. Acid Trap or Acid Trip. That was a trip, man. So of all the games you could play across all home computers, it was colorful, it used music, there's so many positives, but it also is pretty generic when you think of the games you could play. To get all that stuff on screen, though, and the screen, that's pretty cool. I'm thinking around, it's either, this is very bizarre, it's either a 2.5-star game for me, or a 3.5-star game. It's either an above average game, or it's somewhere in the average range. Yes, there. I got exactly from the chat. So Marshall said it's 2.5, and James throws out 3.5 stars. Of all the games you can play on home computers, you gotta admit, it is special in the experience. The experience is kind of interesting. So, well, the gameplay, the gameplay was okay. It was just dodging a bunch of stuff, figuring out what to do to lower yourself on the trip. Yeah, memorable. I don't know. I'm kind of between the two. It's either 2.5 or 3.5 stars. Of all the games you could play across all home computers, I really kind of don't want to call this average. You know what? Because of the theme. And yeah, I'll go 3.5. It's an above average game. This, of all the computer games, there's nothing else you can play this like this. I'll give it a little bit of a nod for that. All right, after that game, what is next? Put the LSD down. It's time to go play on the VIC-20 and play Add 'em Up. All I got is some screenshots for this one, so we're just going to pop in, add them up, and play. It's only available on the Commodore VIC-20. It's the 340th game we've seen for the VIC-20, and it's by Wunderwehr, released at some time in 1982. And Softsmith Software, 20th time we've seen that company. They've done Baja Buggies, Final Frontier, Defender on Tri, Cyborg, The Prisoner, Astro Attack, and Polywog. You can do a 1 or 2 player game. I'm going to go 1 player. And limit, we can put our name in. I'll do it. Chrono is ready to play. Parada, welcome to the live show. Yes, it is time to play all the video games released at some time in 1982. This is Add 'em Up. So it's my turn. I can go, where can I go? Okay, so I'm selecting a number, and I'm going to go with 9. Now the computer's going to take its turn. The computer can only take a turn on the same column that I selected. So whenever I do my turn, I'm selecting, the only movement I have is to move left and right with Z and X on the row. And when I select a number on the row, it adds up those points, but then the computer can pick any number on the column. So you have to think, what number on the column do you want them not to pick? I'll go with 4. Because that's 8, I guess that'll work. There's a 7, a 9. Oh, he's going to get a 9 too. That stinks. Let's go with, why not? So it's an adding game, but we've seen this before. This is a board game called Maxit. We've already seen video games that were ripping off or using this style of game. It's like a variant of Maxit. So, not even nearly ahead. Let's see if we can go. Can we go? No, he's going to get those 2. Oh, we'll keep going. We're tied up with 35. Not looking good. Yeah, he's going to go. Oh, he's going to go 4. Yeah, he's lowballing, so our numbers are down. So we've already seen Maxit games on the show, or variants of Maxit up to this point. And this one wouldn't surprise me if you passed it by. It's all right, but I'd still consider it a bad title. If you want to play with 2 people, though, that's a nice feature. You're going to be taking turns. Otherwise, you're going to alternate turns with a computer. Add 'em Up is, I'd say bad. Of all the games you could play across all home computers, 1.5 to 2 stars max, maybe. Just because how simple it is. This style of game we're going to see mixed with lots of other stuff. So what do you think? 1.5? 2? Maybe I'll be kind and say just 2 stars. It's educational, though. Maybe we should make it lower. 2 stars for Add 'em Up. But that's not all. What's our next game? We're next going to go back to the Micro B. This is Adventureland. Adventureland is on everything. We're going to just pop into Adventureland and see. We've already played Adventureland on the TRS-80, the X80 Sorcerer, Apple II, Atari Home Computer, Commodore VIC-20, IBM PC. We've even played the re-release, the enhanced remake on the Apple II. This was released at some time in 1982. It's the 3rd game we've seen on the Micro B. And I think this is Australia where we are right now. No, we do not want to load a previously saved game. Yeah. Oh, it's classic. Yes, it's just like the original. It's just like Adventureland. Let's play some Adventureland on the Micro-B. Yeah. Yeah, it's the classic split. I'm in the forest. Yeah, we've played this so much. This is so much adventuring that we've done. This is part of the Scott Adams Classic Adventure Series. This is the 60th game we've seen from the Scott Adams Classic Adventure Series. We've even played the enhanced Scott Adams Graphic Adventure games. 11 games we've seen in that series. This one's text only. This is like the old school stuff. This is the 95th time we've seen a game by Adventure International, and we've seen Scott Adams over 50 times on Chronologically Gaming. That's what gaming is like right now. All right, so we're in a forest. We can play a text-only adventure game. We break down adventure games here into 3 categories. We got text-only adventure games like this. We got graphic text adventure games, which is splash some pictures on the screen for these kinds of games. And then we got true graphic adventure games. Up to this point, we've seen 68 graphic text adventure games. This is the 240th text-only adventure game that we've seen that's only available on all home computers right now. Ready? A voice booms out. We're playing Adventureland. You can always type help. Let's just go. I'm going to play. Let's go east. We're in a sunny meadow. We can see a large sleeping dragon. Let's ignore the dragon. Let's keep going east. I'm on the shore of a lake. Visible items are water, golden fish, rusty axe with the magic word Bunyan on it, and a sign that says no swimming allowed here. Let's get that axe. Can everyone see the text? It's way down at the bottom of the screen. Okay, we got the axe. Let's go ahead north. I'm in a quicksand bog. Oh, that's not good. Let's go ahead and there's a small statue of a blue ox. Get that ox. We're racking up the points already in Adventureland. All right, after we get ox, now we can say the words on the axe. So if I like examine, I believe, axe. Oh, examine axe. Oh, look axe. Oh, we had to remember, I guess, picking it up. You can say the magic words. Say Bunyan. Everyone say it with me. Something I'm holding vibrates. That would be the axe. And I'm carrying nothing at all. Tell me what to do. Okay, can I look? What do I got? Nothing special. All right, so basically the axe and the ox are teleported to Paul's place. That's what that magic word does. Okay, we're still here. Let's go ahead and swim. I'm on the shore of a lake. Golden fish says no swimming allowed. Yeah, swim. Oh, not here. I know I can swim. I am swimming. Go south. Okay, I'm at the edge of a bottomless hole. We have a large outdoor advertisement and the hole. Go hole. No, go hole. I love adventuring. I'm on a ledge just below the rim of the bottomless hole. I don't think I want to go down. And there's flint and steel here. Let's get that flint. Like flint. I'm on a ledge just below the rim of the bottomless hole, so I'm back there. Let's head up. Let's get out of there, out of the hole, and go west. I'm in a dismal swamp. I can see the cypress tree, evil-smelling mud. How does mud smell evil? Swamp gas, patches of oily slime, and chiggers. Yikes, we need to get out of here. Let's go west again. I'm in a hidden grove, and I can see back to the rusty axe. Oh, there's my ox. Let's get our ox back again. That's where they teleported. And then let's get our axe. And what else we got? Oh, yeah, anything that has the asterisk, you can see the jeweled fruit. That's how you get the points. Get fruit. Very nice. That is it. That's adventuring. That's Adventureland. Now on the Micro-B. Did anyone have this game? I certainly did not. Of all the games you can play across all home computers, this is average. This is very average. Of all the adventuring you could be doing, you heard how many text adventure games we played. I'm going 3 stars for Adventureland. I do rate the graphic adventures, the enhanced remakes, a little bit higher than this, but yeah, I'd still say 3 stars. Oh yeah, very nice. Arthur Murray, welcome in. Scott Adams Adventures. Oh, and the TI-99. That's one we have seen Adventureland on that one too. All right, after that, what could be next? We're next going to go to the United Kingdom and play on the Acorn Atom. This is Africa Diamond. Get ready for a treat because I had never heard of Africa Diamond. This game is only available on the Acorn Atom. It's the 28th game we've played for this home computer. And here's an ad you would have seen in magazines. Somewhere in the old country house, the famous Africa diamond was hidden. Legend has it possession of the gem will give countless wealth and even magical powers. However, to take the gem is no easy task. Vampires, dwarves, wild dogs, to name a few, have taken over the house and will welcome you with open jaws. All this makes the Africa diamond a true test of cunning, intelligence, and wit. Are you smart enough to take the gem? After all, the most you have to lose is your life. Yeah, right? And there's another ad that you could have seen in magazines. This one's done by Ramtronics and someone named Bend, at least in the code. Is it the first and only time we're going to see them on the show? Probably. This is what happens when you bet it all on the Acorn Atom. Here's an example of the screenshot too. All right, here we go. Let's pop in Africa Diamond and see what it's all about. This is released at some time in 1982. When? I don't know. Here's our Acorn Atom. Let's go ahead and get the tape inside. Everyone cover your ears. I forget the volume if we have it on or not. All right, so, and then I believe after I get the tape, I load. Rog. Play it. Oh, I can hear the tape. It's working. Okay, there we go. And then I need to type old to clear away basic, because I think that's going to help us run the game. Yes, first run. Even though I couldn't find a way to save this game. I don't think there's any way to save this game. Ready? And hit it. You're standing on a gravel drive. In front of you is an old country house with a large oak door. Legend has it that the priceless Africa diamond is hidden somewhere in the house. Whoever found the diamond would be very rich, and it is said that they would also inherit magical powers. Yeah, it's exactly what we read. First command is go north. Good luck. Wait for the bleep to continue. You're standing in the cold, empty hall. To the west is a double door. To the east, a single door. To the north is a decorative stairway leading up, and to the south is a large oak door. Who knew? Why is the tape still going? Can everyone hear that? I think the tape will turn off eventually. Who knew it was going to be an adventure-style night? This is the 241st text-only adventure game we've seen so far on Chronologically Gaming, here sometime in 1982. All kinds of things to have fun with this game. I'm going to include links down below if you want to see more of this very obscure game. It's only found here on the Acorn Atom. There's another blogger called Ringa in Blue that is doing what we're doing, every video game in order of release, but they're doing it in a adventure style. They're only doing adventure games. So I'll include a link to that down below. Africa Diamond is a strange, often frustrating text adventure published by the obscure London company Ramtronics for the Acorn Atom. The player explores a spooky old country house in search of a valuable diamond while dealing with randomly appearing monsters, hidden passages, and cryptic puzzles. And that tape sound in the background, usually we don't have any sound on the game, so I guess, do you want no sound or do you want tape loading sounds? I'll take what I can get. Maybe I'll just mute it. Thank you. Unlike traditional adventure games inspired by Colossal Cave Adventure, Africa Diamond mixes fixed-room exploration with rogue-like randomness. So you ready for this? I'm going to try to start playing the game with what I can do. I think it said go south was my command. So ready? I'm going to go ahead and go south. It says you can't go there. Of course. Oh, wait, there's a dwarf coming at you. Kill. Dwarf. With your bare hands? Yes. Kill. I said yes. Dwarf. I said why. Kill dwarf. Kill. He's coming at us. I don't think this is real time. Kill dwarf. Yes, with my bare hands. I said why. And it just brings us back. Kill the dwarf. Oh, I'll do it again. Kill. Dwarf. There is no way to repeat the command. You got to type the whole thing again. Yes, with my bare hands. What? Kill. I want the dwarf dead. At least he's taking his sweet time coming at us with an axe. It still didn't work. Kill dwarf. With your bare hands? Yes. Oh, still didn't do it. Kill dwarf. I don't even know if it's reading it. Is it the emulation or is it the game itself? Well, everybody that I've known online only... Oh, it did it again. It just... Let's just see if we can go north. Hello. Go. Oh, do we have to say in? You can't go there. Okay, it did understand that. The dwarf just cut off your head. Oh my gosh. And the house claims another victim. That's too bad. Okay, can we turn our Acorn Atom back on? Okay, ready. And run. Oh, no. Run. First run. Yeah, there's always going to be a first run. All right, yep, that's basically it. So unlike objects of this game and enemies appear in different locations in each game, and success often depends on experimenting with successful commands and discovering the correct item for defeating monsters. Vampires require a silver crucifix, while even absurd encounters like fighting a killer rabbit with a ferret become part of the game's surreal charm. This is so many weird things to it. I'm going to load us back in and see if we can go further than we did, because we didn't even get anywhere. The game didn't even work. What was my commands again? How do I get this going? Get me on. Load. It's Prague. Load that Prague. Okay, and then old should clear us, and then run. This one's really gimmicky with the basic. All right, ready, hit it. Play it. We're in. That's it, yes. As we listen to more beautiful sounds. Room descriptions of this game can be misleading. Exits sometimes require unexpected commands, and progression depends on an unclear scoring system tied to killing monsters. Despite these frustrations, the game creates an eerie atmosphere through its unpredictable enemy encounters, shifting environments, and unusual mechanics, giving it a distinctive personality among early 1980s British text adventures. If you enjoy the punishing, cryptic style of the Africa Diamond, there were many notoriously difficult text adventures we have played from the late 1970s until now. A few became legendary for unfair puzzles, maze design, and sudden deaths, or obscure parser logic. Some of the most infamous games we've seen so far on Chronologically Gaming have been Castle of Riddles, Philosopher's Quest, the Arctic Computing Adventures A, B, C, and D, The Hobbit on the ZX Spectrum, and Demon's Forge, and I guess, of course, Zork, because that was pretty obscure too. Can I go south? No, I can't go there. Can I go... Oh, rerun. Run here is the evil troll. Wait, it says south is a large oak door. Okay, what about open door? Now go south. No, you can't go there? What in the world? Yuck, it splatted you. And we got a little sound or ditty at the end. That's cute. All right, yep, there you go. There's your first experience with Africa Diamond, or at least as far as we're going to get. The amount of effort it took to load this game was hours of my time. How long was I going to spend on the live show? Probably not so long. But Africa Diamond is only on this home computer, and I can understand why it wasn't ported anywhere else. I am not going to call it charming or quaint, or just I'm not difficult or not wanting a challenge to play an adventure game. I'm going low. For all the games you can play across all home computers, this is bad. Broken, maybe, possibly, because of the difficulty, but I won't go that far. I'll say still 1.5 stars for Africa Diamond. Only because there's a few things that it's doing that is a little more rare, but good luck getting there. All right, after that, what could possibly go wrong tonight? Our very next game takes us to the Atari 2600. This is Air Raid. Yes, Air Raid, yay! At least I've heard of this one. Here's the box for Air Raid. If you've seen this box, you need to go sell the game right now. This game is only available for the Atari 2600. This game marks the 200th game we've seen for the Atari 2600 or VCS. A monumental feat. Way to go, Atari, for all the memories. We love ya. I think we got, yeah, that's it. Nice. The Atari 2600. For commemorating this occasion of being the 200th game we've seen for this home console, let's take a look at the console landscape right now, or of what we've seen so far on Chronologically Gaming. For other consoles, 200 games for a console is way too many games for a console. To put it in perspective, we're going to go in order from lowest amount of releases to the most, so you can kind of see what the difference is. Right now, you could be playing on the Intex Adventure Vision. There is only 4 games for this home console. After that was the Epoch Cassette Vision, which, I don't have that. I don't have the Epoch Cassette Vision. We've seen 8 games so far for the Epoch Cassette Vision in Japan. After that, the Atari 5200 is out. We've seen 9 games for this home console, only 9 for the Atari 5200. The next console with the amount of releases is the ColecoVision. We've seen 11 games released for this home console, only 11 up to this point. Another obscure console, the VTech Creativision, has had 12 releases of games that we've seen so far. The APF Imagination Machine, or the MP1000, we've seen 13 games released for this home console, like really old one. One of the new and best ones, the Vectrex, is out. We've seen 13 releases for the Vectrex you could be playing on this home console. Next for the amount of releases is the RCA Studio 2. We've seen 21 games for this home console. Quite a bit. We're not really going to see any more of the RCA Studio 2, and for good reason. The next home console was the Fairchild Channel F. We've seen 30 games, so we're getting more. 30 games have been released for the Fairchild Channel F. At this point, you'd be playing on the Channel F2, I believe is what it was called, for home consoles. The next one up is the Bally Astrocade. We've seen 36 releases for the Bally Astrocade so far. Then after that is the Emerson Arcadia 2001. We've seen 42 games for this home console. Hopefully you're not playing this one. It really doesn't have the best releases. Coming up next is the Magnavox Odyssey 2. This video game console in North America we've seen 44 game releases up to this point. And we also split this console into 2. You can see pictured here is the Philips Video Pack. In Europe, it's referred to as the G7000. We've seen 48 games for the G7000 and 44 for the Magnavox Odyssey 2. Back on the Intellivision, globally, we've seen 52 games released for the Intellivision so far. And there's only one other console right now that can beat this with the number of releases, and that's the Interton VC4000, or all its derivatives. We've seen 58 games so far for this home console. That's lots for a home console, but it's nothing compared to the Atari, because this is the 200th game we've seen. Air Raid is 200 games for our Atari. This box looks way too new. It's a sealed package, and this is Air Raid. The quiet pre-dawn sky is suddenly filled with enemy bombers. Can you save Manhattan from your lone command post? You watch as the skyscrapers around you are reduced to each hit until after 12 hits, nothing but rubble remains. You fire fast and furiously to protect the falling city. Can you withstand the deadly onslaught? With 8 variations of play, this debut thrill-packed action game by Minivision will bring many hours of exciting, challenging play. Yeah, right. Many hours. We'll see about that. What other artwork do we have for Air Raid? Someone says they touched this Atari cart once. Just once. So besides this, I have different box reconstructions because this one is a very special one. This is the cartridge for Air Raid. It has a blue handle, similar to the Atari or the Magnavox Odyssey or the Philips Video Pack, with the handle that you rip up. But this one, never seen a handle like this. This is special. This is very, very rare. Air Raid is a rare fixed shooter released by the Atari for the Atari VCS or the 2600 by the mysterious third-party publisher Minivision. And then besides the cartridge, we also have some fan art, very nice, and an example of the screenshot. We have a manual. The only scan that's available online as of the time of this recording is this manual. Don't adjust your eyes. It's not a whole lot to see, or it's not a whole lot to focus on, because this is very, very rare. Yeah, you can see I can't even read the instructions in the manual, at least from this scan. It has Air Raid. I can't even read the story in the manual. I'll let you try to decipher if you can, or maybe take this and make it into a smoother manual, but this is it. This is what we have for Minivision. The reason why that manual is so hard to find is because the rareness of this title. This was released at some time in 1982. Some sources say 1984. Let's check out Air Raid. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 game modes. Hey, pretty cool. All right, so let's start with game mode 1 and hit it. Ooh, yeah. So I'm at the bottom of the screen. I'm firing, I'm shooting. Sometimes my shot goes through enemies. What's up with that? I move left, I move right, and I fire. It keeps the score at the top of the screen. We have large, impressive sprites using chunky pixels. Multicolor sprites too, I might add. The large, chunky sprites, just it makes me feel warm and fuzzy playing the Atari. But gameplay's pretty simple. The enemies are shooting down, and if at the bottom of the screen, like they said on the back of the box, if they shoot 12 times on the city down below, oh, there you go, they hit me again, then the game is over. So you're just trying to get the highest score you can. Why are my shots going through enemies? Is the flicker that powerful? But what you're seeing here, this is it. This is the game Air Raid. When you play this game, you're controlling an aircraft defending a city from waves of enemy ships and bomb attacks. The gameplay is reminiscent of all the classics like Atlantis, Space Invaders, and other fixed shooters. While the game itself is considered a solid, fairly straightforward shooter, its legendary status comes from its extreme rarity, unusual history, and that one-of-a-kind cartridge that we saw. Unlike standard Atari cartridges, Air Raid was released in a distinctive bright blue T-handle shell. It's one of the most recognizable cartridges in video game collecting. Very little verified information exists about Minivision, the company that did this. You can see it down at the bottom. And the identity of the game's developer still remains unknown. I couldn't find anything online. No confirmed programmer credits, company records, or official documentation have ever surfaced, adding to the game's mystique. Even the people who have the manual say there's nothing there. All right, so if we go through game modes, I can show you the differences. It's pretty bare bones. Game mode 2, you're able to control the shot. Ooh, yeah. Classic Atari style. This also is a single-player only game. There is no multiplayer game modes, even though we have 8 modes to choose from. If we go to game mode 3, we're now going to have enemies that are moving. Oh, watch out. Enemies can move and dodge. Instead of just going straight down. If we go to game mode 4, this is moving shots and moving enemies. Wow. Go to game mode 5. Now we're going faster. It doesn't actually look faster, though. Yeah, I guess bullets are faster. Game mode 6, now it's just we're going to repeat. Everything's a little bit faster or harder in difficulty, and then now I can move my shots. 6 adds the moving enemies, and then 7 or 8 will do, I think 8's moving shots and moving shots and moving enemies. How long can you last? How high of a score can you get before they destroy your city? Not only is this an original, like it's not completely ripping off Space Invaders, the story though is exactly the same. There's things, there's a sci-fi element, things coming down to destroy the city, and you must stop them. So although Air Raid is sometimes called an unlicensed in the broad technical sense that Atari did not formally license third-party games during this era, it's more accurately classified as an original third-party Atari 2600 release rather than a bootleg or a pirate cartridge. Minivision appears to have commercially manufactured and distributed the game independently, much like other early Atari publishers outside of Atari itself. Today, Air Raid is considered one of the most rarest and most valuable Atari 2600 games ever released, with authentic box copies selling for tens of thousands of dollars. Its scarcity, mysterious origins, and iconic blue cartridge have made it one of the defining holy grail collectibles of retro gaming history. And to that note, we really haven't talked about rare games on this show. One thing to note is, why was this generation, the generation we're in right now, is the generation of some of the most rarest video games ever. Not just rarest video games for a console. This generation that we're experiencing has some of the rarest, or the second. They call it the second generation of console gaming. This is the gold rush of rare video games, and one of the reasons for that is because right now anyone can publish games. There is no such thing as a lockout chip. And the companies that are that we've seen right now on the show, they appear overnight. They pop up and then they leave. And because of next year, what's going to happen in 1983, after the video game console crash in North America, most publishers were gone. after that. So they appear and then they disappear, like this Minivision. There's also a lot of unsold inventory that was dumped or destroyed after this generation of consoles. There's also the mail order and regional games had microscopic print runs at this era. So that's why we're in the golden age or gold rush of super rare games. That's the chaos that created some of the rarest games in history. On Chronologically Gaming, we really haven't talked about rare video games. This is one of the first super rare. We have seen some rare games, or I've alluded to rare games, but we really haven't talked about super rare. This is one of those rare games that people didn't think would be found, and now, because through the power of the internet and forums and so forth, there have been people that have found Air Raid. It was one of the first ones. Now, here's some other rare games that you could be seeing or finding during this era of gaming. So everyone, right now, go to your attic, go to your basement. If you have any of these games, you probably can sell them for a lot of money. Another example of a super rare game is Red Sea Crossing. This was rediscovered for its rarity more recently. Another one is Birthday Mania, also for the Atari 2600. It's because this one had personalized copies, because it would be for you buy it for someone for their birthday. Super, super, super rare. Another example is Pepsi Invaders. Coke Wins. The Coke Wins one is super, super rare. Another game that if you happen to have it, is very rare right now. Mailplane on the Vectrex. It's a prototype kind of holy grail video game that's out there. Another really rare one is Power Lords on the Magnavox Odyssey 2. This one's extremely rare retail release. Did anyone have this one? Then on the Intellivision was Learning Fun 2, a really rare educational cart. And then the rarest of the rare, maybe even more rare than Air Raid, is Gamma Attack for the Atari 2600. Only one copy is known to exist for this game. And this kind of world that we're in 1982, they are churning out games that end up becoming very, very rare. All right, so as far as Air Raid goes, you know the gameplay. You've seen the show Chronologically Gaming before. This is a fixed shooter. It's a shoot 'em up. It's a bare bones shoot 'em up. It's the 427th fixed shooter that we've seen on Chronologically Gaming and across all home consoles so far. This is the 61st fixed shooter on the Atari 2600 alone. This one is the 28th fixed shooter that we've seen so far. And this game would be considered borderline scrolling shoot 'em up. I don't. I call this a fixed shooter, but you can see how people could consider it a scrolling shoot 'em up. Look at the bottom. The bottom's scrolling. Look at the enemies. The enemies are scrolling down. They even move side to side. Oh, my bullets can go through them. Nice. Some other databases have classified this as a scrolling shoot 'em up, and we've seen this before where the black background or Starfield background stuff is flying at you and it may look like scrolling, but we differentiate between true scrolling shoot 'em ups and from fixed shooters like this one, just moving left, right, and fire. Some other examples of barely a scrolling shoot 'em up would be Chaos on the Atari home computer, Space Eggs on the Atari home computer, Star Mines on the Apple II, Defense Command on the TRS-80, The Black Hole on the TRS-80, Klystron Raider or Onslaught on the Atari home computer, Arcadia on the ZX Spectrum and VIC-20, Space Freaks on the VIC-20, Storm Fighters on the ZX Spectrum, Myriad on the VIC-20, and Alien Swarm on the ZX Spectrum. On the Atari 2600 alone, we've seen some really close, is that scrolling or not? So to show you some examples, here's Mega Mania. Mega Mania, sure, there's enemies scrolling across the top. Is it a scrolling shoot 'em up though? No, we're still calling this a fixed shooter. You move left, right, and fire, and stuff's coming down, kind of similar to, I think it's Astro Fighter. Another example of a game that I still call a fixed shooter, but it scrolls, is Space Chase. It is not really a scrolling shoot 'em up because you're just moving left, right, and then look at the enemies. The enemies are just moving left and right as well. On the Atari 2600 is also Threshold. Threshold is taking place on one screen, but I mean, look at the borders. The colors are scrolling. It makes you feel like maybe you're scrolling shoot 'em up, but no, I'm still calling this one a fixed shooter too. Another example is Word Zapper on the Atari 2600. It has scrolling letters and has some scrolling elements, but it's still considered a fixed shooter. And then finally, there's Rescue Terra 1 that's available on the Atari 2600. Another example that Air Raid's going to be put in as, is it a scrolling shoot 'em up? Not really. It's can be considered I guess you can decide, but we're gonna here on the Chronologically Gaming, we're just gonna call it a fixed shoot 'em up. All right, so there you go, Air Raid. So many games that we've seen so far, so much context that we can give you to gauge this era of gaming. Air Raid right now isn't that big a deal. For all the games you could be playing across all home consoles, this one, as far as gameplay goes, not really doing anything special. Console video gaming, we've seen plenty of games that are doing this, and if it was right now 1982 and you had this game, then I would just tell you save it because it's going to be worth a lot of money now. I wasn't familiar with this title. It's just too rare for most people to just say, oh yeah, I remember playing this game back in the day. So I'm thinking around average 2.5 to 3 stars of all the games you could play across all home consoles. Air Raid is middling. I'll say 2.5 stars. Right now, there's a lot more games to play and a lot more fun to be had. Maybe because of the impressiveness, I'll go 3. Yeah, let's say just still average for all the games across all home consoles. It is special though when you consider the rarity. All right, that's where I got to put all the video game playing on pause. Put your controllers down. It's time to continue playing every video game that was released at some time in 1982. This is just the beginning. We have a little over 500 to get through before we finally close out 1982. So now it's your time. Do you have any games that we've missed from 1982? It's possible they're coming up in the rest of the list. A big shout out to everyone that's here live on the show. I see you all there. Hey, Brian. Brian's here too. Welcome. Jeremiah, Brad, James, Marshall. Appreciate everyone that's here live on the show. I also want to give a big shout out to everyone that's doing the comments and sending messages out. Really enjoying this quest, even though it goes in weird, strange places whenever you're going to see and play every single video game. I also want to give a big shout out to everyone that's on Patreon supporting us financially. Couldn't do it without you. And for all the fans, thanks so much. Next time on Chronologically Gaming, we're going to play more games that were released sometime in 1982 that start with the letter A that you have never heard of. That's it for today, and like I always say, send help, please. Hey everybody, thanks for checking out the channel and joining me on my quest to play every single video game in order of release. We'll be streaming live every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Central, so join us and be a Chronologically Gaming influencer, rating the games as we play them. This video wouldn't be possible without Launchbox, RetroArch, and Main. Tell all your friends there's some crazy guy named Chronologically Gaming trying to play every video game. We have links down below that give more information on the games we played this episode, as well as our Discord and Patreon. There's a link called All the Games We Have Played. If you go there, it's a list of everything, and you can click right to the game you want to see. Chronologically Gaming is the name to look for. We are perpetually retro, and we will catch you next time.